Here we go. Thank you, Jerry Jones. I had a great time. Thank you. I'm going to exit the building now. Like a loser.
The house that Jerry Jones built?
It's a house for losers.
Yep.
Charles Haley was 100%
Charles Haley was right.
This, friends, is a house for losers.
Pretty much.
We suck. We suck. But I had a great trip.
What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Don't forget about BetUS, where you can get 150% matching. That's right, 150% matching on deposits of up to $2,000. You'll get 150%. Not only on your first deposit, not only on your second, but your first three. And with that extra money, my advice is, if you must bet on the Dallas Cowboys, make sure you use your bonus money, because then you're playing with house money. Oh my goodness. Is it already Wednesday? This is the season of my discontent. I don't know why I'm here. I just don't know, where literally I am. I think I'm going to lose my mind. And let me say thank you so much, Twiz Digga, for... Okay, hold on. My wife is calling me. Yes, honey. I am live at the moment. If you want to see if they have the Jell-O cook and serve yellow flavoring, that would be great.
Can you, while you're sitting there, can you forward me a picture of the box?
You mean while I'm on live right now as we speak?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Talking again soon.
I'm sorry?
Someone else will be talking again soon.
Well, no, I'm about to go on live. I'm live with, a couple hundred of my friends right here and so on. So, yes, I will take care of that for you, the honey-do list. I'll send it.
I'll take care of that.
No, okay, honey. Okay, you're on speakerphone. Okay. Love you.
Love you more. Bye.
Okay, so let me take care of that. We're trying to find lemon meringue pie filling. Let's see if I can send this to my wife. Just hang on for a second. She's a good wife. Let's see. Okay, there we go. All right, so back to where I was before I was rudely interrupted. Yes, the chicken. So I guess we'll go ahead and enter the studio.
Take a time out because I've got. I wait a minute here.
Oh Lordy.
Hey, Philadelphia sports fans, I want to do something here for you.
Oh God.
Do you know when you go to the zoo and you see that lion there and he has to be fed? And what you do is you feed him a sacrificial piece of meat. And you just throw him out there. Eagle fans. I'm not going to take a timeout. Not going to do it. But what I'm going to do
out
is,
of here. Let me get out of
yeah,
here.
Xander, great stuff. I love you, man. Great stuff.
let me
As
get-
always.
Oh,
Make sure
Lordy.
you catch him, guys.
It begins.
Let me just tell one on the way
It
out.
begins.
Yo, Clay, fuck you, Clay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks,
The
everybody.
best F-bombs. Thank you, Xander. Hit the like button, guys.
Here we go.
Holy shit. This is going to be fabulous, folks.
This is gonna suck.
He has agreed to come on, and I'm going to give him a lot of love. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, he has decided to come on the program. and he is not shy. For your entertainment, the Dallas Cowboys' #1 podcaster, Mark Holmes, is here now for your pleasure. Eagle fans, Mark Holmes. There he is.
Why am I here?
I don't know. Hey, Mark. By the way, guys, please hit the like button and don't forget our friends at BetUS. Take a shot. Take a shot. You're going to need it here.
You know, it's actually got to the point where I've moved on beyond the pain to where it's just comical. Because it's literally at the point where everything Jerry Jones does blows up in his face. You know, he talked about, what do you want me to do? Destroy the place, because of the curtains? And literally pieces of the stadium start falling from the sky. It's
2 pieces.
It's literally insane how bad the Cowboys are. It's kind of like, I'm just numb to it now.
Did you go to the game?
I was at the Eagles game. Yes, I was there at the Eagles. Yeah, I was there. I was looking for you and Philly.500. I'm glad you didn't show up because that would have been I'd been diddied on that one.
How about this?
Mm-hmm.
When you watch your football team, I mean, I cannot believe Jerry Jones puts that product out on the field right now.
Yep.
What are you telling your fans right now? Now there's word about Deion Sanders potentially being the head football coach. I mean,
okay, let's stop here for a second. What player or coach has never been not listed with the Cowboys? Right? And anytime there's anybody out there, you know that A, everybody wants to embarrass the Cowboys right now. B, everybody wants to talk about who's going to be the solution. If you're Deion Sanders, who's an alpha male, who's used to having everything he wants and wants all the attention, do you think that Jerry Jones wants to share that with Deion?
Wouldn't it make it so though that he could get back to being a football guy instead of worrying about being P.T. Barnum?
I don't know what Jerry wants.
Dude, being P.T. Barnum has not resulted in wins.
No, it doesn't. This has been a 30-year experiment to prove that Jimmy Johnson was just another guy.
That's right.
That's what it all amounts to, is he's still trying to prove that I'm greater. And, when I sit there, I sat there in the stadium, which is a beautiful stadium. The sight lines are incredible. But you look at that as an empty vessel. This is like, the guy that's 65 years old with a little dick that goes out and gets a Maserati to try and impress the chicks. He's still the same guy with the little dick and everything else. He's trying to compensate for everything else. I apologize. Maybe that wasn't the best way to put that, but literally the way we've been bent over and all that, I'm kind of miffed. This goes back to everything that everybody said about the Cowboys. They don't care about winning. The product that they're putting out on the field, the lack of desire to sign anybody, the draft picks that have all blown up in their face. This is literally everything that's out there. And this is how crazy it gets. That Cooper Rush right now, his EPA is 40th in the NFL. Not that Dak was doing any better, but you literally traded for a guy that you say right now, Cooper Rush gives you a better chance to win. How fitting is it that the Dallas Cowboys have had the 2 biggest draft busts in the history of football with Ryan Leaf, and now you have to put Trey Lance in there as well on their roster. This is what Jerry Jones, the genius, the guy who's best suited to fix it, has done.
How about this here too? Mm-hmm. And I have said this about Parcells' run in Dallas here. I think as Bill was building that roster up, finding guys like Tony Romo and all that, I think he started to see another creation of Jimmy Johnson starting to build his football team up. And I think he got rid of Bill, and I think he pulled the carpet out from under Bill because he saw what Bill was starting to do, and he was putting the Cowboys back on track again with quality coaches. Sean Payton was in the building as a coordinator for you guys at one time. he put a great staff together.
And they actually went out in free agency at that time, because you think about them bringing Terry Glenn, T.O. Out there. They had actually were building, and that 2007 team was a great team that was put together. Unfortunately, the Giants
he undermined Parcells, though. I think he undermined Parcells. He didn't want to have another Jimmy in the building. And his only two coaches that were really winning coaches for him were Bill and Jimmy. Yeah. And he didn't want to see it again. And that's why that Parcells experiment was shorter than what Jimmy was.
So am I not getting Philly.500 here so you guys can tag team the old guy?
No. Philly has something else to do. He said that.
Okay.
Piling on Mark right now. I mean, he said watching. Did you have an Eagle jersey on?
No.
Oh, I thought I saw you in a green Eagle jersey.
No, things are low, but they're not that low, bro. You know what? At this point, I deserve all of the shit that I mean, trust me, believe me. Everybody is having a good time, and they should. They should laugh and make fun of us. What I'm actually hoping, and this is what I tell Cowboy fans, that what's happening right now, where you are literally the biggest joke in the NFL, and this is where I can't even believe this. If you want to buy tickets to the Cowboys versus Cincinnati, upper level tickets are $37.
That's insane.
You can buy end zone seats, lower level, for $149 right now.
Those are $350 tickets just to some people out there. Just so you
usually
know
at the lower end. When I first looked at tickets for Cowboys Eagles, they were $400 for upper level seats.
That's right.
And right now, $149 gets you lower level in the end zone. That's the best.
Probably at what, $1,000 ticket?
$1,500 seats.
Yeah, $1,500 seats are going for $100.
And so the best thing that can happen to Jerry Jones is that Monday Night Football game that they wanted to flex out of there. The place is going to be empty. You're going to see, because they give you all the towels, that it's going to be, this is what you brought, Jerry. This is what you not spending money has done. That maybe hitting rock bottom will be what changes them.
So let me ask you this. So the Turkey Day game is going to be Cooper Rush versus Tommy DeVito. Is that right?
Hey, this game is important.
That's the Turkey Day game.
That game is important.
Versus Cooper Rush.
Yes. This is two teams that are trying to race for the bottom. Who can be worse? See, this is where the Cowboys actually control their destiny, because they play Carolina and they play the Giants. If you lose those two games, you're moving up a couple of spaces on, draft capital.
Okay, that's where I'm going now. What position do you think the Cowboys in April have to attack if they want? Look, I think you're 5 years, maybe 3 years behind the Eagles right now. And the way that they've been drafting, and maybe even Washington, the way that they're ascending right now. Yeah. In your opinion, what position do the Cowboys attack in April?
Well, I think they're going to be around. I think they're going to be around sixth or seventh as far as drafting. Everybody is getting on the.
Will they be able to go after Travis Hunter?
I think they will. I think Travis might be there. But you have to look at the Jets right now, talking about benching Aaron Rodgers. Do you think that they're going to win another game? So, you've got the Giants definitely skipping over Drew Lock to go ahead and go to DeVito. That says we want to make sure we don't win any other games. So I don't know.
I think if Deion Sanders becomes if Deion Sanders becomes the head football coach, you get Travis Hunter.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. And Deion might be, where Deion can kind of go and let teams know, my son is not going to play for you. Don't even think about drafting me.
You can't get rid of Dak. That contract prohibits it because he's got no trade.
I agree on that 100%.
But get this, I'd rather have Travis.
Yeah, that would be a difference maker. The Cowboys have so many holes. Right now going to this game against Washington, I can't believe that I'm almost looking and saying we got almost no chance in this one. We have Tyler Smith, looks like a high ankle sprain. He's still being evaluated. You've got Guykin is still hurt with his shoulder. And now you've got Zach Martin, who literally is now blocking at ghost. He's getting beat left and right. He's probably out this week. So you have no offensive line. You don't have a running game. Washington, probably Dan Quinn will want to embarrass the Cowboys like everybody else. So it doesn't look good regardless of what Micah Parsons saying we're a good team.
Here's where I think the Cowboys made the biggest mistake. this offseason. They
That's a long
waited
list.
too long. They waited too long on these contracts with CeeDee Lamb and with Dak that it consumed the majority of their time. Do you understand right now, Mark, that Josh Jacobs is on pace for 1,500 yards? You have Henry on pace for $2,000. Barkley's on pace for $2,000. All these guys were available for the Cowboys to sign, and they bring Zeke Elliott back, who was a fucking relic. And on top of that, they waited until the 23rd hour to sign those deals, and it took them off the ball on fitting like this. Depth, running game, defensive line, linebacker play. I mean, you know why your secondary is getting, that secondary is better than what people think. But you know why they look shitty this year? You're getting no pressure
They're getting run
outside
on.
of Parsons, and you can't stop the run again. This is a third-year issue with the Cowboys not being able to stop the run and the shitty linebacker play. It's affected the secondary like the Eagles were affected a year ago when they were 31st against the pass. Now all of a sudden, they're in the top 2.
If you're not getting a pass rush, if a guy's got 4, 5, 6 seconds, eventually somebody's going to break open.
That's right. And you've got more open design wide receiver routes. They mature, which means this. You're playing right in your face, and these guys, instead of playing under the sticks, those wide receiver routes are developing more, and it makes it harder for that secondary to cover. The Cowboys have good secondary guys.
Yeah.
There's some really good players on that side of the ball.
Injuries have been part of the factors.
And you can't stop the run.
Well, a lot of it is, and I have to 100% agree with you, that the Cowboys always wait till the last minute to do anything. And it's not just those contracts. They always feel like at the end of training camp is our time to sign bargain basement guys. They're bringing in, USFL guys. They're bringing in guys that have been on a roster for a couple of years. They're bringing in old guys. And the fact that you're bringing them in after training camp, they don't have time to even learn your system. And they feel like, well, we can just plug a guy in and he's just going to be a baller. Sorry, the Cowboys have made so many mistakes that every single one of them have blown up in their face. They don't believe in free agency. They don't want to sign anybody that's got a big contract. And see, here's where I look at it and say, here's where you're wrong, Stephen Jones, about believing in your own guys. Which would have been better? Signing Michael Gallup to a $32 million guaranteed contract with a torn ACL, or going out and getting a free agent that you'd only be tied up for 2 years with, that if it doesn't work out, you let him go. That's the kind of mistakes that they make. Yeah, I see Philly.500 saying he's sorry he couldn't make it. I'm sure you are, man. They need comic relief. The people are coming here to see me get slayed. They're not here to talk about it.
I said that I was giving Eagle fans today the ability to watch misery, that this right here is my gift to them, is Mark Holmes right now looking in the face of misery. Look at this. Right now, look, it's just misery. Dude, wait, here's another one here for you. Ready?
Okay.
If you're Dak Prescott, why the fuck are you staying in Dallas? You're never going to win a Super Bowl in Dallas. And here's a guy that is it just about paycheck with him? Or is this really
I can tell you what it really is.
Do you want a legacy or not? Because if you want a legacy, maybe you demand your way out of there. There's a lot of football teams, Mark,
that would die to have him.
If Dak Prescott goes to San Francisco, they win a Super Bowl.
I agree. And, as much as everybody says, well, Dak sucks, he was the only thing that was holding this team together. You can see with Cooper Rush out here how pathetic it really gets. But here's the thing.
Or Dak in Pittsburgh. How about Dak in Pittsburgh?
Well, Pittsburgh right now doesn't seem to need him. They ended up getting Baltimore this past week. They're doing pretty good right now with resurrecting Russell Wilson's career. But as far as Dak goes, and talking to his Uncle Philip, who it was his sister and him that basically raised him, that Dak literally as a 5-year-old kid is running around with a Emmitt Smith shirt on and a plastic hat saying, I want to play for the Cowboys. So it's always been his dream to be here with the Cowboys. And I think ultimately his hopes and dreams are that he can be the one that gets him back to prominence. It may be a pipe dream. The chances of it, as long as the Cowboys are currently constructed, I just don't see it. The only way.
Can I tell you what I would do?
What's that?
If I were Jerry Jones, I would call Troy Aikman and ask Troy Aikman to be the general manager of my football team, like John Lynch is the general manager of the San Francisco 49ers. And what I would have John Lynch do, I would have Troy Aikman ask him if it is possible that he would be the general manager of my football team and let him run football operations and let him pick a coach, let him pick talent, let him. And by the way, he's coveted that job before, and he's been asked that question about being the GM of that team. And he has said he would be open to listening. I know Troy very well, and Troy would be open to listening. Can you imagine having Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and all those guys having an impact? And I'll tell you why that works. Right now, Chris Spielman is working with Brad Holmes up in Detroit, and Brad Holmes is hitting on every single draft pick in Detroit. Same thing going on with Martin Mayhew.
Yeah.
When Martin Mayhew was in San Francisco with John Lynch, they hired a guy like Martin Mayhew, who was the former general manager of the Lions. They put that 49er roster together because those guys, they missed on Trey Lance, but the rest of those players like Fred Warner and the guys, Hufanga and them people, they did a nice job. I would ask Troy Aikman to be the general manager of my football team. What do you think?
The question, but here's the problem, and this is what I say all the way around. If you ask the solution, who should be the coach or whatever, it all depends on what Jerry Jones is. It doesn't matter if Jerry and Stephen Jones are still the GM and the ones running this organization. They have screwed it up. Stephen Jones does not know how to do a contract. Jerry Jones is at the point where he'll listen to whatever anybody says, and they're not making football decisions. I would love to see something like that happen. I would love that Jerry Jones would actually come to a press conference and say, you know what? I've been trying for 30 years to fix this, and I finally have the solution. The solution is I'm too close to this, and I and Stephen Jones need to step away, and we're going to get the best GM out here to go ahead and get the best coach and organization together. That would be the dream scenario. But as long as Jerry Jones is believing that he's the best person for doing the job and that literally, I still believe in those guys in the locker room, we are literally the Raiders the last few years of Al Davis being there.
How about this? If you get Deion Sanders to be your head football coach, do you go to Dak Prescott and go, Dak, do you really want to be here still? Do you want to go somewhere else? Because we want to really move and get Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
And would you do that? And remember this, moving that salary is going to be quite
difficult
a task because it's $60 million. Obviously, I don't know how they could restructure that contract if he goes somewhere else, because someone just pointed out to me if he goes to the Niners, it's cap issues. There's no question that money creates a lot of cap issue. I think they overpaid for Dak, but again, it's the market. I get
the market
it.
and the time that they wasted.
Trevor Lawrence just got $55 million, and they're not winning dick down there too. So I get it.
Well, here's the other thing you have to look at, though.
To get Deion, I would ask Dak, hey Dak, I mean, would you be open to being moved? And if I'm Dak, I know I'm not going to win a Super Bowl in Dallas. How old is Dak Prescott right now?
30 years old.
Okay, he's 30. Do you see in the next 5 years the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl with him as quarterback?
Not unless they change the ways they're doing.
And not because of Dak. I'm talking about because of leadership.
Not unless they change what they're doing. And even so, you've got to look at it and say, yeah, you got to look at this and say that next year is going to be a rebuilding year, unless you're going to go out there and really be aggressive in free agency.
The next 2 years, probably.
Right. So you're talking about Dak being on his later years. I would look at it differently. One, I'm going to say, I think that the salary cap is going to jump more than what they think it is. With them getting like Netflix involved, the gambling money, Lord knows the gambling money is out there big time, that you may have the salary cap jump up like it did another $40 million. I would look at this and not say that maybe I need to get rid of Dak that first year because, with your rookies, you're not paying that much per year for your quarterback. Currently, the Cowboys have $20 million. They got $21 million. They got 20 already on the cap next year.
So he's not an escalator?
Well, Dak is actually an 80. This is with Dak Prescott being an $89 million hit. You could throw some of that, flick the trigger on him, and grab some more. The Cowboys could easily get $100 million. I would say if you can draft Sador, maybe you end up doing like you did with Jordan Love. You give basically Dak one more year here, and you start bringing the guy up, and then look to move on from him later. Because then you're looking at
so you draft him
and have him sit on the bench. Give him some time.
I think there's a better that's a great take because I'll tell you what. There's a better chance that Shedeur Sanders is there at 5 than Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
And there's a better chance if you draft Deion's kid at 5, you bring him into the building and Dak's still there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying you pull a Michael Penix and a Kirk Cousins deal, and you have him. And the Cowboys drafting a quarterback. And by the way, maybe you then entertain the fact of moving Parsons to try to get yourself additional first-round
draft picks, right? And, maybe it ends up being that you say to Dak, Dak, listen, we're going to be going in that direction. You can pick the team that you go out with. You're then able to kind of look and make his contract a little bit more friendlier to the next guy. If you go through next year, currently as it stands, your dead money is $150 million. If you wait till the next year, your dead money is only $61. So from that standpoint, and then you're not getting your rookie quarterback killed from day one, and you have a chance to really build something for the future.
I'm curious, though, just, shits and giggles here. How does it taste watching the Eagles at 8-2 right now and then beat the fucking doorknobs off? How does it feel right now watching that team ascending with all their young talent that they have? And you guys are spinning out of control like the Titanic going down. How does it feel watching that team just – they're here.
My team is unwatchable.
Can I tell you this? They're like Tiffany's. You know what you guys are? You're like the dollar store.
Don't insult the dollar store, man.
Hey, we get eggs there. I'm good.
We're more like a secondhand store, man. It hurt. I'll be honest with you.
Playing against sports? Okay.
Here's what's interesting with my channel, okay? The number one city, going by the analytics that people watch, is from Dallas. The number 2 is Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I have been trolled to the point where literally I got this guy, Leo Bridgewater, okay? If you need some weed, that's the guy to talk to because he's like, he works with the veterans and everything. He's really big time. And he's a channel member, and he came on my show last week.
Send me his email.
And he literally, he's working on a Dallas Cowboy blue strand, okay? I said, I'm not a weed smoker, but you can send me that shit. This season is so bad that I will definitely spark it up.
Hey, neither am I.
Right? But the way he went balls deep on me, oh my God. He's like, no, I want you to suffer, man. I want you to feel like shit. Your team is the worst team in the NFL, and there's no coming back from it. It's the truth. We are literally the clown show. And I've never seen so many injuries. I've never seen so much ineptitude. I've never seen such bad play calling. I mean, we're freaking, fake punting a second time from the 38-yard line and failing. We're going for it 4th and 26, deep in our territory. It's like, are we literally this bad, or are we just trying to make sure that we get a high draft pick?
Let me tell you what I was watching when I was watching Eagles and Cowboys. I thought of you. And I did. I thought of you. And I was like, Mark's probably having a nice cold beverage, having probably nice something to eat there, watching the game. He's looking like the rest of the Cowboy fans in dismay. And I said this, suffer, bitch.
That's what everybody is doing,
Hey,
and they're
suffer,
right. And if it makes them feel better, I am suffering. Okay.
Oh, it always makes someone feel better when they see others in pain. Don't you know America by now?
Oh yeah, they do. Trust me. You would think with the Cowboys being this bad that my numbers would be down. Oh no, the
no.
numbers aren't down.
No. You got to remember something, Mark. You're in a perfect place right now. You know why?
Why?
If the Cowboys are great, they're off the chain numbers. If the Cowboys are horrible, they're off the chain numbers.
No.
The one thing you don't want to be is in the middle.
No, I can literally, when the Cowboys are playing well on my game day live streams, I got about 1,000 people. Dak throws an interception or something like that, it'll jump to like 2,500.
So it's kind of like a heartbeat.
It's literally Cowboys just they're winning. The numbers go down. Now people,
your off season is going to be enormous.
The off season is going to be crazy because, God, if the Cowboys do what they always do, like with Jason Garrett, you remember they waited before they fired. He literally kept coming to work for a week, and everybody is saying dead man walking, and they just waited and waited and waited and waited. I don't understand how a team and an owner that always seems like he's such a penny pincher, where he's literally making sure he's making every dime off the fan, is always so reckless when it comes to their contracts and making money. A business decision is, we need to go ahead, if we're paying our quarterback and our wide receiver, let's try and make sure we can maximize our investment. Let's put the pieces around it to make sure it's successful. You don't look and say, well, we paid those guys, so we're done. They just got to do it on their own. It doesn't work that way. Not at all.
Would Jerry be open to John Gruden?
I don't know what Jerry Jones would be open to, because I don't really think it's...
Mike McCarthy's fired no matter what at the end of the year?
At first I was thinking that maybe what the Cowboys did was, because I still don't understand why Dak signed. I'll be honest with you. Because looking at what the Cowboys did, I get it. You're getting a big chunk of money. You want to be the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. But you have to look at this and say, they're not going to do anything to help me. I wonder if they kind of had a meeting of the minds and said, look, we're going to hit the reset button here. We're not trying to do anything special. We want to let D-Law's contract expire, Zach Martin's and all that, get some cap room, and then next year we'll have a high draft pick, and we're going to try and go all in then. That's the only thing that makes any sense to me right now, because Mike McCarthy does not look like a guy who's worried about getting fired unless he's just ready to get the hell out of here.
Mark, I'm going to go down this list here. A couple last ones here for you.
Okay.
And you tell me, upgrade at running back. Do you agree in the offseason?
Oh, you got to.
Is Tolbert the number 2, or would they look for another one?
I think you got to look at another one. He's a 3 at best.
Ferguson's a keeper, right?
Yeah, he's out in concussion protocol right now.
Will they stick with the two? Would they stick with the fullback set, or will they?
Hunter
Hunter
Lipke is actually pretty good. He just has not had, because we're doing so much running back by committee, he doesn't get on the field, but he's actually been very productive. So I like him as a fullback. I really do. Now the question will be what kind of offense are we going to run with the new coach?
What's their feeling on Tyler Guyton?
To me, Tyler Guyton, I think here's the problem with the Cowboys is they're always mad scientists. Yes, you do this good, but we want you to do something else. He played right in college. I think you should move him back to the right-hand side and get rid of Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele has not been good since he had the ACL surgery. I think you look at getting rid of him. You make him a post-June 1st cut. You save yourself about $13.5 million on this year's cap. And you look at getting a left tackle. That's what I would look at. Put him over on the right side.
Tyler Smith, is he back?
Tyler Smith, yeah, of course. He's going to get paid.
Are you happy with Cooper Beebe, kid from K-State?
Cooper Beebe, yeah. He's been one of the few bright spots from our draft this year. He's had 3 games with no pressures given up. Some seasoning and some time and some players around him will definitely be good. I think he's going to be better than Biadasz was.
Is Zach Martin out?
I think Zach Martin, he has been totally broke down this year. His contract's expired, so I think that this may be his last year. And I'll say D-Law too.
Terrence Steele, right tackle.
I'd cut him at the end of the year. He's not worth.
Wow.
He's not worth the money that they're paying for him. I'm telling you, he has been consistently as bad as Guyton at tackle.
Do you believe on the defensive side of the football that it'll be a completely remake with Goldstein, Smith, in your right defensive tackle? Do you think there'll be 3 new guys over there next year?
I think so. I mean, of course, you're going to have Mozzie. It's not going anywhere because he was the number 1 pick. And he's not, he gets a lot of flack and stuff. He's a decent defensive tackle. Is he a number 1 pick? Probably not. But I think he's a guy that's a good rotational player on there. Ozzie Ndigizua is, this is a contract year, and it's been so up and down. He probably goes elsewhere and plays great somewhere else. And so I think you're looking at basically almost a whole new defensive line. We've had so many defensive ends from Sam Williams. Now Marshawn Nealon is now in the practice portal, so hopefully we see him again on the field in the next 3 weeks. Maybe there's something there.
You need to revamp that front four, man.
Well, I agree. They needed help. They needed to revamp it from last year. And here's the thing that you have to look at with the Cowboys. Here's the problem with the Cowboys. Instead of the Cowboys drafting to complement what they have, they're constantly drafting to plug holes.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is because very rarely do you have somebody come out the box that plays like Tyler Smith or Micah Parsons. If you're counting on a 3rd-round guy to come in and be a starter and a legitimate one that's going to play a lot of time, chances are that's not going to work out, and that's part of the problem with the Cowboys.
All right. Micah Parsons, what are you doing with him?
Getting him a muzzle. I am sick of seeing his podcast. It does absolutely positively nothing. If the Cowboys were to bring in Bill Parcells, I don't see how that works with him doing all this stuff, because it's kind of like every week it's kind of like he's doing something that's stupid that ends up being, a controversy. This week literally saying that we're a good team. Bro.
If he pulls that shit with Mike Vrabel, who's another name that's
there
being
you
thrown
go.
around,
That's not going to happen.
That's not gonna fly with him, man. I mean, Vrabel's not going to deal with that kind of shit, man. And I believe that Mike Vrabel would move that guy and demand that guy would be moved, because you can't have that kind of bullshit. The last question here, this secondary here, Wilson, Hooker, Diggs, obviously Bland. Bland and Diggs will be there. Hooker's a good football player. Personally, I disagree with a lot of people. I think you have some good secondary guys. I just think your linebacking core and your front four are just not very good, and that
helps the secondary.
Absolutely. And right now, I think that the secondary would be a lot better if they were able to improve the linebacking core and the front four, because again, it's just right now the developing routes are killing the secondary right now. So, Mark, this football team's 10, not 10.
10.
This football team's about
we've
3
been
years
30 years
away. This football team's about 3 years away from being competitive.
Depending on how you end up doing it. If you get a football mind in here and you start using free agency to plug some of the holes, you do have some good pieces. Now, back to Micah Parsons. I don't see where the Cowboys rush to pay Micah Parsons. I look at this as another deal where he's playing on the 5th-year option, just like
well, then he'll be a bitch this coming season.
Well, okay. What you going to do about it, bro?
He'll be a gigantic distraction again, and that's something that
he's already a big distraction. And then maybe you end up moving him then. But
look at this.
The problem I have with them moving somebody is the Cowboys don't know how to trade. You literally traded Amari Cooper for a 5th-round draft pick, and you spent a 4th round to bring in Mingo.
Look at what Philly's doing here. He's mocking you with this. You know what he's doing? He's now using you. Hey, he's now using you as a punching bag, saying, here, do us a favor. We need you to help us move up in the NFC versus Washington. Hey, man, go out and win this for hey, you know that famous saying, win one for the giver? Yeah, now you're saying win one for Philly so that we can – holy shit. bitch. How's this possible, Mark?
It's just the way things are now. And I got to go to Harrisburg this weekend and do some work for an Eagle fan. Lordy. It just gets worse.
Hey, man, listen. Tell the folks how they can get a hold of your channel, man. You've been out. Dude, I'll tell you what. You know, he texted me this morning. He goes, I'm here for my weekly beating. And I'm like, dude, I love you, man. Thank you so much for coming aboard. We're as transparent on this program as ever. Mm-hmm. And I got to hand it to Mark, man. I tell you, the most watched franchise in American history is Yankees and the Cowboys. There's no question about it. Okay? And you're taking a ton of shit. I get these notifications from your channel, and I see all these people just thumping you, dude. And
I don't
Philly's
read the comments anymore.
Right now.
I just don't read the comments anymore, man. They're just they're merciless, man. It's just bad. But dude, you can find me in the gutter with a bottle right now. But if you want to see my channel, just look for Joe Boo Sports Report or Mark Holmes, and you can find me there.
Thank you. I'm going to get Philly on probably tomorrow. I'm going to see if we can do it, Philly, if you can come on tomorrow. And we'll see if we can tag up, and we'll get him on tomorrow. You have to watch. By the way, Mark, thank you very much for your misery. It's been so refreshing to watch and wonderful to watch how you're just in this position here. Look at this here, man. I
can't believe that it's this bad.
Look at this. Now you're being mocked. People are paying to mock you.
Oh, I get Eagle fans that literally super chat me just to insult me. That's how bad it is.
Go Cowboys, run it up on the Commanders. Oh my God. Hey, Mark, I appreciate you more than you know, man. Thank you so much, brother. Yeah. All right. Hey, Philly, good, man. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll pick a time. Look at that. And so that we could sit here and remember the time here on November 20th here and watching Mark Holmes in complete misery suffer, fucker. Suffer. Hey, Mark, thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, dude. I do feel bad for that dude, man. I got to tell you, man. Hey, look at Abe. Hey, look at what he says. Stuffer. Jameson, Mark does show up. Hey, I'll tell you what. He's loyal to you Eagle fans. He's showing up. You know how many of the stiffs on WIP or those shit radio stations in Dallas would never show up? By the way, Mark does the best show in Dallas. You know why? Because those other guys, you know what they are? They're chewing gum on the bottom of Jerry Jones's shoe.
Yep.
Okay? Jerry Jones steps on it and picks that gum off the bottom of his shoe. Those are the hosts in that city. Mm-hmm. Because they don't have any Sacagawea to say anything.
Yep.
Nothing. Hit the like button. Way to go, Mark. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the Jacob Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube.
There we go. I hope you guys all had a good time there. Making fun of me and all this, that, and the other. Eagle fans, you got your pound of flesh, and now you're hoping that we will find a way to get a win over Washington. Whew. Man, it gets harder every week, man. God, it gets harder every week. But what can you do, man? I'm a diehard Cowboy fan. I'm loyal, and I'm a glutton for punishment. That's all I can say. Harley, man, Jesus, love you too, man. Linda, solid fan, Mark Holmes, respect. Shout out to lovely Linda, one of the few Eagle fans that are not killing me right now. And with that being said, I'm going to go on the couch and cry. I appreciate you guys. We only have one person here to blame, and that's Jerry Jones.
Here we go. Thank you, Jerry Jones! I had a great time! Thank you. I'm going to exit the building now. Like a loser.
The house that Jerry Jones built?
It's a house for losers.
Yep.
Charles Haley was 100%
Charles Haley was right.
right. This